Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to our New York webinar. This is the regular New York webinar we do. It's open for everybody today, so you can have a look. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through most of the pairs and look for weekly setup for next week, which we're going to say which direction we actually think these things are going to go next week. Right? So let's start. Normally we start with the dollar index. See what the dollar index is doing, and from that we make an assumption what we think it's going to do next week. Daily. Dollar index is coming down, and in the short term, as you can see, we broke that structure and broke this structure. It's coming back to the trend, which is going to be back to this level. So if dollar index is coming back there, you notice the first time it came back in a three-wave corrective pattern. 1, 2, 3. Let me put blue, so yellow. So this time there's a possibility if I take off this arrow, which is showing direction, this is coming back in a very sharp move here. There is no way we can think that this is not going to pull back. So what we're going to expect next week is that this may start to make some correction, and then you get one more drop. It could be sharp like this. It could be flat like this. It doesn't matter. It's just a corrective structure, and then you're going to get one more to the trend. At this point, they will talk to us. At this point, structure has to make a decision for one more up to complete the 5-wave pattern here. 5-wave corrective structure. And I think we will get that one more up. So which means next week we are going to be in consolidation, then more downside for the dollar index. And then eventually they're going to go back up within the sideways movement. It's pretty much what you see them do all the time. Down, up, down, up, down, up, come back down, make 3-wave patterns, go back up. Make consolidation, fall, pull back, fall, pull back, fall. It's pretty much what it does. The chart never moves in straight lines. So what we're going to expect once we saw they broke that top there is that they're going to come back for a deep. And I don't think this one will be going all the way in a straight line. So next week, expect up move, corrective, downside. Euro, pretty much what we expected to do from this morning's webinar. We were looking at it and we were saying, well, we are in a corrective structure. The trend is downside, at least. The 240 trend is down. Right? This is coming down on a 240, but it's make one impulse, made a corrective move up, made another impulse. We are making a corrective move up, back to about probably just above the 618, maybe the trend line somewhere there, if you can see this. So I'll put it in a 240 so you can see that better. It's taking a long time. So on a 240, you can see that this one is actually making its way back to the top. We broke out of the corrective structure, 1, 2, 3. This is going up. So any consolidation you get here would be a buy back to the top. Right? And from that point, we should get one more down within a 5-wave corrective structure. Go back to the daily so you can see this now. So on the daily structure, what we're going to expect is this make 1, 2, 3 up there, and then back down here for one more within this pattern. At this point, they'll talk to us. I think we will get one more up, or they can totally break down. But I think we're going to get one more up. And the reason I think we're going to get one more up is because of this structure we're looking at. This structure so far is giving us an A wave. This is the top. We have made some corrective structures within it. We've made a 1, 2, and this one is going to come back here for a 3-wave structure. I think somewhere here it should end. And then we should go back up here for this one. So this should be a yellow wave up to complete a 1, 2, 3-wave structure. I don't think they will break this low. They may break it, but I don't think they're going to break it. What we may see is them doing this, come back to this somewhere here, retest the low, and then go back up to complete the C wave. So all of this structure within here still remains as the B wave structure. Right? Simple. We are in one big sideways move. And they've only made one high so far, one impulse. So there is going to be another impulse up after this correction has been completed. See? So what we can expect, you can, in terms of trading, you can get a trade to the upside from here. Don't jump in the trade, wait for it to pull back. It will pull back. Let's go into the 4-hour. So trades for next week will be euro up. because I think the whole of next week this will probably go up. I don't think they're going to finish that move today, right? They can, but I don't think that's what they're going to do. So we would look for this up. Any pullback here now, you're starting to buy. Pull back, you buy. To the trend line, and then look for this to break and go down. So next week we may get up, and then at the end of the week we may see some downside if they finish, if they complete that upside, right? Pong. We're going to go through all the majors and sum the pair. Pong is pretty much similar structure. We broke this corrective structure. They made a very strong wave up here. Pull back, and now we can see this going up. I think Pong will just continue to go up. I see big moves to the upside. I think I've posted this before already. So what I think they're going to do is they're going to correct this whole move that they actually made here. I don't think this is the start of the very big move. There is going to be a big trend to the upside on the Pong. I've already posted that chart, and it has created a number of big trouble, but all of you in here have seen it, so there's no need to go back to that. But I think this is making a corrective structure up as a 1, 2, 3 wave to about there, or about the 50 fib. And then we're going to retest this low before the big one start. A retest of that low will give us some indication here that this is going to give us a big move up. I don't think they're going to go far beyond this. We may see somewhere just above 1.25, maybe a little higher than that. And then we're going to see the big trend starts to the upside. Now, what is going to create that trend to the upside? I have no idea. I can't see in the future, but I can tell you that it's going to happen. And the reason I'm telling you is because the structure is so set that if you know how to read the structure, you can tell that it will happen. Now, what would be the trigger for it is a whole different story. So fundamentalist people who likes to think that, well, okay, the market moves because of news event may be partially correct. I don't think the news event is what moves the market. I think the news event is what is being used to move the market. Because the market will still go where it has to go. And there are many instances when the news event is very, very positive and the market goes nowhere, or it's very, very negative and the market keeps climbing. And what they're going to say, well, the sentiment is different. Well, you got to decide. It's either the sentiment or the news event you're trading, right? So you just can't find a comfortable explanation for everything every time. It simply wouldn't work. And even if you're correct, then that's not tradable. You have to find something that is tradable, something that you can trade. You can actually look at this and say, I can trade this because this repeats itself over and over. And very often they do. So I think next week we'll be trading Pong to the upside. It's going up already. Let me take this out. That's a trade my traders were looking for. By the way, I hope they're in the trade. So as you can see, that is a trade we were calling in our trading room this morning. We broke out, pull back, and it's going up. That's a trade my traders should be in, right? So hopefully most of them are in that trade, and we are going up, and this could really climb. And any pullback after that, you buy because it's going to go up, right? That's very simple. Aussie has been a little surprising. It's just making a bigger correction than I expected them to do. So this would eventually go down, but I think what they're doing here now is we expect this from the downside and we expect this to go down, and then we're looking at it, they're coming for a fifth wave up within this structure. It's still looking corrective to me based on the entire structure. Based on this entire structure, this piece is looking very corrective. This is pretty much a sharp move up, and that's an impulsive wave. If we look at this structure in two ways, we can look at this as some of an expanding flat, if any one of you know anything about patterns, or we can look at this as the one making an A, a B, and the C wave structure, coming to retest this top. Now, I'm not inclined to think that that is what it's doing, because I think this was an expanding flat, and this is making a 1, 2, and it's going to go down when they break this structure here. Once this structure is broken, we're going to go down. So now we're getting one more wave to the upside, one more impulse. We've got an impulse, we got a pullback, we have an next impulse, we have a pullback, and we're getting another impulse. It's a buy for you. You can wait for this to pull back, and it will likely pull back, and then you can take this straight up. This is going to be a trade that you could look for. Once they break this top, I'll be very careful, because you're getting divergence in here, right? That's showing you that there's no momentum in the market for it to go. So you will have to really be careful. If you take this trade, once it gets here, what happens with it, right? Just be careful, because at this point, we can see the down move starting. So next week, we may have some up move just like the euro. I think the pound also will go up, and then we will see the down moves. One more down impulse in this, one more down in the euro, one more down in the pound. And that means New Zealand should have a very similar structure. New Zealand is pulling back up very strong. That correction is much stronger than I expected it to go. I thought they would come and retest this low before they go back up. Well, actually, they're going up, and they could retest that high, right? Retest it. But within this structure, it is still going to go down. So far, it hasn't broken the structure. And if you haven't broken the structure itself is saying downside. So only if and only when they break out of this structure would I reconsider that structure is not working. As far as I'm concerned, this may not go up very much more. It may go slightly more, and then you can see it start falling. This would not surprise me, because I'm waiting for this fall to come, and it will come, because there's a high probability that to the upside, pound and the euro may go up much faster than the Aussie and the New Zealand. So we'll watch this. It's still going up right now. Let me take that off. It's still within this channel to the upside. We can put this like, put it more accurate for that. And that means at some point we're going to start to expect this to come down back. And that is something you should start looking out for, because this move up is sharp. It's a corrective structure. It's still within the bigger structure, which means at some point, this thing here is going to come back down, right? So if it makes a corrective structure here, you will get one more upside. And they could do this for a number of times before they come down. I'll be more inclined to look for the downside on this right now. So next week, we'll see maybe more upside, but then the bigger picture should give us a move to the downside, right? Oh, that is Nora saying they're in the GU. Okay, well done. You guys got it. You should, because it's a good trade, really good. Let's see, Swiss. So next week, next week Swiss is going to be going down, and it's already going down. I hope I was encouraging, the first time I encouraged my traders to go trade on the 5-minute, because there was a suspicion that this was going to move down pretty sharp once it break, and we may not get a very fast pullbacks. So I told them to take all the 5 minutes breakout, because you're unlikely going to have any sharp pullback on it so soon. Oh, come on, what's wrong with this, right? And this one, if you can find anyone, they're not the best ones, so I think you'd probably skip them. If you're in, you're in. If you're not in, then just let it go, right? Because I don't like to trade the 5-minute, but this one was going to move pretty fast. We anticipated that fast move, so we said you got to be careful. By the way, I've posted this chart a number of times. Remember, I told you guys it's going to break this stop and then go down. Well, they did exactly that. So we're looking for this to come back and retest the low and break the low. And that is where the question comes in now, whether we're going to see the up move, what this structure is making. Once we retest that low, we will, where is all the charts on the up? Okay, I was wondering where is all the charts on it. Let's go to the weekly so I can show you what I'm looking for here. One of our trader, I think, is definitely trading this like crazy. So she's making a lot of money out of it. She's picking the very good spots on it, because she trades only Euro Swiss and the Pound Swiss, and she's doing really good at it. As a matter of fact, she did her analysis on this about 2 weeks ago in one of our training sessions, where she was showing it, and that was exactly how she forecasts. Come back to the top, go to the low, and then start buying for the upside. Right? This structure here should break to the upside on the bigger time frame, but remember, we're in a weekly chart. So first, the whole of next week, we are likely going to go down, some more down, which means on any correction you can buy. But once this pattern here is completed, we can start to look for a next impulse up, right? That is what you look for. You got an impulse, you got an A, B, C correction, you got a 1, 2, 3 up. This was a 1, 2, 3 up too, by the way, an impulse. You're getting a correction, and we're going to get another impulse up, right? So what we're going to look for here now is short-term trades downside. Any pullback, you sell. And you now, because it's gone so far, I would say wait for a 60-minute pullback. Wait for a pullback on the 1 hour. because this has gone very far. If you go into 15 minutes, you'll probably be selling at the bottom. So you'll wait for it to go and then wait for it to do this. And then start selling. You may even get some buys in this going up, right? There may be a possibility for some buys in that going up, but a bigger trade would be to sell. So any pullback would be great, and then we'll go. Hassan, you're in. Hassan, keep typing euros. We will come to them, my friend. If you're in the trade, why panic? Here's what I tell all traders. People write me daily from TradingView, all kind of message, and then they say, please, please, I'm in this trade. Can you help? I have 15,000 followers in TradingView. 15,000 people write me a message every day and said, please, please help me in this trade. I will be spending the rest of my life just trying to help people in TradingView. Not that I don't want to help. And then when you don't answer immediately to their questions, they start getting angry at you. Guys, you have to trade as a trader. If you're not ready to trade as a trader, don't trade. You cannot sit in a car without knowing how to drive, and as you're already moving, start screaming for help. You're likely going to be in an accident. And that's what happened to most people. You learn to drive before you drive, right? So just be patient. I'm coming to your pair. Don't worry. If you're in the pair and you're upside down, don't worry. You have a stop to prevent you from losing your account. And the stop should only allow you to lose about 1% of your account. And that is okay. You should not panic because of that. That's trading, right? That's what we're doing. So look for sell in this one. Next week, wait for pullback and then sell. CAD. What is CAD doing? CAD is also coming down. I think we can look for sell opportunities. This is pretty clear. Any pullback here, you sell. Pullback, you sell. Watch it when it comes to this trend line. The reason you want to watch that trend line is because there's a possibility for one more up once it gets there. CAD is also, let me just show you, CAD is also a big corrective structure. This is the impulse. That is the weekly trend line we broke out of. This is correcting to the upside, and then it will be going down one more. This is simple. This is not, this is what it will do. You can keep a snapshot of that if you want. Take a snapshot and remember what I said it's going to do. You have an impulse, you're going to make a correction up. As a matter of fact, I think I posted this chart that we are going to have a correction up there. It should be in the weekly. If I can find it, there's definitely a chart showing that this would break, make that correction, and then go. I don't think I'll find it here. It's probably, let me see in the monthly if I have it in the monthly. Nope, not really. It's somewhere. We'll find it eventually, right? But that is what they do. They break, they make an impulse, they make a correction, and then they go for the next impulse. So at this point, you're going to watch it at this trend line, and then you will watch it at this trend line. I think there is going to be one more up, right? I think very likely we're going to see one more up before it falls. So next week, we are trading down. I think this is going to go down the whole week. I'm on the daily chart, so we can get 5 candles going down more here, right? Before we go up. So in a 4-hour, you wait for a correction. You wait for this to make a move up. It will make a move up. And then you sell. You wait for a move up. You sell. You wait for a move up. At this point or at this point, it's going to go back up. Well, we may see an up move. I can't say it will go. I said we may see an up move. So you should be prepared for that. Yen. At this point, that was a sell. It made a very sharp move up, tested the trend line, and I said, if they break that trend line, we will be starting an uptrend. And if they haven't broke the trend line like they didn't do, they're probably coming to retest this area here. And we could have one more downside here. See that? There's a possibility they come and they retest this low, making one more correction, one more impulse within this trend. So once they break that trend, you have a nice trade. Once they break this trend, you have a trade to the downside. But first, you wait for a pullback. So you have a better entry. If this doesn't break this trend line, as you can see, it's an uptrend. You got to move up. You got a correction. You have a move up. You're making a correction. So far, it's looking like a correction. But once they break this, you're looking for this move to the downside, right? It means they're going to, once they break this up corrective structure, we're going to go down. What you want to wait for is for it to break and make a correction here and then trade this. You will always hear me say it. And if you're in the first time in my room, you would some of you would know, I said, watch an impulse, find a correction, and then get your next impulse. Here is your impulse, here is your correction, get the next impulse. Here was your impulse, this is the correction, get your next impulse. You got a deeper correction, skip that one and take this one. Impulse, correction, impulse. You want another correction here, and then you trade for another impulse. It's that simple. It's not difficult, right? Because that is what the chart does 99% of the time. Very few times you're going to find that you don't get the correct impulse you want, or you couldn't recognize where the correction and the impulse is, and you're in the wrong side of the trade. And that happens. You can afford to take a certain amount of losses if you're trading well and you're getting more wins than lost. And if your risk to reward is more than 2 to 1, then you can afford to take 20-30% losses. Your account will still grow, and that's trading. Right? We don't have a crystal ball to tell us, but we work with what is the highest probability in trading. So if you don't know that, stop trading, because you will lose your money. At the bottom end of the day, if you're trading out of ignorance, you're going to lose your money, and it's still your money. It doesn't matter who you're following. You're following me, you're following any other buddy. You can go and try to blame the person you're following. The idea of following somebody is not so that you can blame them. The idea of following somebody is that you can see if what they see is what you see. As a trader, if I look at somebody's chart and let's say I'm not looking at a chart, and then I look at somebody's chart and I see, he said, okay, euro is going to go up. I don't start buying euro like I'm crazy. I go to my chart and I look at the euro and I use the analysis that I have and said, oh, wow, yeah, he got it. Euro is actually going to go up. So now I use my strategy to see if I have a trade set up to trade. Euro could be going up, but I have no idea. I have no strategy to trade it. Or my strategy does not give me a trade at that point of time. Then I just let it go. You don't chase the candle. You don't chase it because you see it going up, and you're gonna miss it if you don't jump in. That's not trading, right? If the bus has left the stop, you're not jumping in. You're chasing the bus to jump in, right? You let it go. You wait for the next bus. You can chase it and try to jump in. You know what the results will be, right? And that's what happened to a lot of traders. They just don't have the patience, or some of them don't even have a strategy. So without a strategy, all you're going to do is just be chasing all the time, right? You guys have to have your own strategy, something you have tested, something you know that works, right? That is what you need to be. Because if you don't have that, you're going to lose your account. And remember, it's your account. You're the only one responsible for it. So you can come and troll my charts or troll anybody else's charts after you've taken a loss or so. It wouldn't help you. You got to learn to trade. And if you learn to trade correctly, it will help you. Our job as traders, anybody who posts a chart, his job, the person that's only showing you his views. And you don't have to agree with it. If you agree with it and it fits what you're trading, bingo, trade it. So what we're going to know next week is what happens here. If they break, we're all sell. If they bounce off here, you're not buying immediately. You're waiting for a move up, you're waiting for a correction, and then you're buying the next impulse out of this trend. And it is very likely that they could do that as well. Structurally, both of those moves are possible. EURUSD. So what is EURUSD doing? We're looking at this big daily structure, right? This is the very big daily structure. We've been looking at this structure for a very long time. And once we see a structure like this, let me take all of this. Once we see a structure like this, these structures tend to have a very specific pattern. They tend to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they will go up. That's a specific way these structures behave. Very often, they will actually come to the line most of the time. But in this case, this one never got to that line, and it came back to this line. So the question I'm asking myself, is it still, by all means, it could still be a 5-wave structure, right? Nothing says it can't. It could still be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if this is what I see, if this structure is what I see, then there's a 90% chance it's going to go out of this. It will be going for another move up, because if you look at this whole thing, that is what you're going to see. You will see, you will actually see an impulse up. You will see a corrective structure. You're going to see another impulse up. And if you start to see a very big corrective structure like this, there is a chance you're going to get one more impulse up. See that? It's that simple. So if we see a structure, what we do now is we said, okay, if this structure is going to win, the only thing that will negate this structure is if it breaks this low. Break out of this structure and break the low. Well, now we know that it is not making the pattern we thought it's making. So we would look for consolidations and sell, consolidations and sell, consolidations and sell. But when it is at the bottom of the structure, the best thing you want to do is to watch to see if it's going to go back above the structure. Now, we can't say for sure that this here is what it is, but this is how you trade. So if we get a setup here for a buy, we take it. Win or lost, you take it every single time. 20% of them you're likely going to lose, but you take every single one because you cannot decide which one of them is the 20% you're talking about. So that means you will take every single one of them. It is that simple. You're not going to skip any, because if you skip any, you will end up skipping the wrong ones. 1 second, guys. Let me just reset something here. Good. You will skip the winning ones and you will end up taking the losing ones. So let's go back and see what we're looking at here now. Come back to this. What is it doing at the bottom there? And come to the 4 hour. We made a move up. You can see that very clearly. We made a move down and then we broke this structure. That is exactly where I said you want to look for a buy setup because it's breaking the structure. So you broke out of the structure, it moves up somewhat and it moves from here to there. It's going to correct. It made a correction, right? It made a correction and they broke the top. They broke out again. So that gives you another buy setup. So let's assume that you bought here. Let's assume all of us bought here. Where should you put your stop? You're looking at this structure and they're breaking out of this structure. For me, my stop goes here. That means if they don't go and they come back below that structure, I want to be out of the trade because what I saw and what I thought was incorrect. And it could be incorrect because this could be making a three-wave structure of its own. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. It's over. It could be going down now. And we don't know that. So we're saying if this structure breaks out and continues to go, I want to be in it. But if it breaks out and it doesn't go, take me off of the trade when it comes back to here. We do have a trend to the upside now. 1, 2, and we are going up, right? We are making higher highs. That's the rule for a trend. So what you need to watch now is what is going to happen here. Is it going to break the trend or is it going to bounce? So I'm in the trade. And you notice I'm not panicking. I'm not, oh, what is happening? What is euro? I don't care. I have a stop to prevent me from losing more than I plan to lose in the trade. I have already put that trade on and I've decided for myself how much I am going to lose. And based on that, that is how I put the trade on. So if I said I would lose 1% on this trade if it doesn't go, I calculate my 1% risk, calculate what is the size of my lot size I have to go on, and I put that on. So no matter what happens, except if something really extremely fast happened when my broker decided to give me some slippage, I will probably lose a little more than 1%, but very likely you lose 1%. That's all. And I would not lose sleep over that because if the trade had gone to where I wanted to go, I'll likely make about 4%. See? That's simple. But traders put the trade on, it comes back a little on them and they start to panic and they start writing me, hey, I'm in this, can you please help? I'm in the euros and it's not going, it's coming back against me. So I always ask, so where's your stop? I don't have a stop. Okay. What was your plan? If you don't have a stop, then what was your plan? You're planning to lose your whole account on this? Well, if you plan to lose your whole account on it, then why worry? Just let the account go down. If you're planning to lose only 1% or 2% or 0.5%, then you would have a stop at that level. Saying that once it gets above or below, this level, depends whether you're a buyer or sell, I'm out of the trade. That's it. You don't have to panic. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to start writing. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to throw out your computer through the window. Just put the stop and let it go. You lose this one, so what? You can lose 20% of them. And if you're trading correctly, you're still going to win. Your account will still grow. One trade is not the entire trading career you should be working on. So it could stop here. You get panicked and you close it out, and then it stop here and it starts to go back up. And what you do, you jump in back at the top here, and then it starts to pull back again. And when it gets here, you close the trade and you watch it go back up again. And then what you said, oh, this Forex thing is not working. Something every time I jump, as one guy wrote me correctly, he said, I don't know what happened, but every time I get into the trade, it's pulling back against me. Right? And this is true, the guy said, every time I get into the minute I click the trade, it starts to pull back against me. So all I had to say was, wait some more. Don't click the trade when you wanted to click it. You're making an emotional trading. You're not trading based on your strategy. You don't have a strategy. You're trading an emotional. So don't, every time you want to click it, take a walk. Go walk outside for an hour or two and then come back. And you'll probably be clicking it the right time. Right? Everybody, I get that a lot. A lot of traders say, as soon as I click the trade, it pulls back. Well, that is what it does. It always pulls back. Very often you wait for the pullback to get in. But in this case, in some cases, you don't get the pullback so deep or so often. I didn't think this pullback was going to come back so deep. And it may even break, but I have a stop for that. Right? It's okay. It's nothing is wrong with that. Very often these trades, when they break out, they go. They tend to go, go, go. And those are the lucky ones. Those are the ones that behave very normal. So it's okay. Just wait and see what it's going to do. Don't worry. Don't panic. Don't do anything. Just put how much you... Remember what I said when you were in my 2-week free webinar. For those of you who missed it, there is only one thing you have control over. You guys should write this down, because there is only one thing you have control over in trading. And that is how much money you can lose. You can't control anything else. Right? It doesn't matter how much you understand the chart. It doesn't matter what strategy you're using. There's only one thing you personally can control. And you can absolutely control that. That is how much money I'm going to spend on this trade. Consider it spending, which means you don't think you're going to get it back. Think of the trade. Every trade you put on, think of a spending. How much money can I spend on this trade? And if it's gone, I will not get it back. You cannot calculate. You know what traders do? They calculate, okay, how much money I can make in this trade if it goes to 149. And then they said, oh, if I put all in, I'll probably triple my account. So I'm going all in. Right? And that's what they do. Or they risk 50% and they said, okay, if it goes 40 pip, I will get 50% of my account, and that's it. I'll close the trade there. And then it only go 10 pips and start to reverse on them. And before long, they realize that they're 30, 40, 50% down on their account. And then the panic button starts to trigger, right? Well, you shouldn't do that. You must control how much you can lose. And that is mean you should regulate it to 1%, 2%. Take the amount you're not going to panic on. Why worry if you lose a trade? There's 200 trades more to come in the future, right? So that's how it should be. Don't do that. Don't calculate how much you're going to make. Traders always do that. How much I can make if it goes to this level. Well, and based on that analogy, they're trying to put a larger lot size on, much bigger than they should risk. Well, if I do that and it goes, the last time I did that and it went and I made it only 2%. As one guy said, well, it went and I only made 2% because I had a 0.5% risk on it. Next time I'm putting in 5% risk on it. So I'm going to get 20% in that trade. Well, the next trade you could lose, and that means you lose 10.5% of your account, not win it. You don't calculate that. I can say this over and over every single webinar, 20 times in the webinar, and traders still make the same mistake. I don't know why. At every webinar you go to, anybody who has any knowledge of trading will tell you the same thing. Don't over risk. That is what breaks trader. That is what makes you lose most of the time. Actually, it's not that you're wrong on trades that make you lose your account. I can guarantee you that. If you take a trader who has zero knowledge, absolutely zero knowledge of what's going on, he may not even look at a chart, and just tell him at any point, click buy or sell in the euro. At any point, you just decide when you want to click buy. But when you click buy, make sure you put a stop 1% away. When you click sell, make sure you're risking only 1%. And just keep clicking buy and sell without looking anyway. There is a high probability that you may not grow that account very big, but after a year, you will still be clicking buy and sell and you will still have the account without knowing anything. That's a probability game. It could happen, right? I'm not saying you will grow your account, but you may hardly lose the account because you're playing on chance, luck and chances. And because you're only risking 1%, you need 100 bad trades in a row to lose the account. And that is not going to happen. Not even 100. You may need about 200 because it's 1% of the remaining sum of money. So you may need about 200 bad trades in a row before you don't have money to trade. And even if you know nothing about trading, that's unlikely to happen. That is a probability that will never happen. So after 1 year, you still will be clicking buy, sells, although you have no knowledge, right? It's because you're using bad money management that makes you lose your account so fast. You want to get rich tomorrow. Why wait until next year? Let me get rich tomorrow. And you lose your money the next day. That's it. Just remember that, because if you remember that, you will see. A lot of you have been through that already. So let's go. Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand went up. We were looking for this breakout. We did get the breakout. It did go a lot. I was in this trade and I got a break even on this trade, right? Put this, when it came up here, I moved it to break even and it came back, take me out for break even. That is okay. We had a lot of pips there, by the way, that I didn't take any profit in that. See that thing went up to 60 something pips. But that was not my target. My target was way up at the top here. This was my target, right? So because it didn't go, it becomes a break-even trade. If you didn't have a break-even trade there, you had enough chance to take off the trade physically for a small loss because it just kept going. And what they did is they make a bigger corrective structure, something you guys would learn if you become a trader on wave theory, which we did. By the way, we recognized that a little early in our classes. Even this morning, I was showing my trader that watch this to come here and then come back, probably do this some more, and then go up. It will go up. It is just making a bigger corrective structure. I especially leave it like this so that you guys could see it. What they're doing now is this. They're making a bigger corrective structure. They're making a wave down for an A wave. They made a B wave and we are coming down for a C wave. It could come to about a 618 and then go up. You know, this is not going down very fast. That is because the C wave is probably not going to move very fast to the downside. So next week, I'm going to expect some more down here. Take off this line. It doesn't have much value right now. You can expect this to come back some more, probably go up, come like this. Somewhere along the 50 or the 618, I think we will start to see this move up. This move is going to happen. There's a 99, I think, % chance of that happening. 1% this thing come back here. I've seen many of these structures. And I could be wrong 3-4%, 5%. But these structures, once you see them, you know where they're going. You understand them. This thing is coming back to the top here at least. The question is from where? So our first attempt didn't work very good. No big deal. Let it go. Just look for the next attempt. Right? Just look for the next attempt. So can you guys keep your question for the end? Because when I tried to read the question, I ended up, lagging in the webinar itself. Let me see. I'll just answer these very fast, and then if you can keep them. Yep, the trade will be posted on YouTube. You guys answer him. That's good. Okay. One of my guys will share the YouTube channel with you guys so you can get him. How do I redraw the trends? That's a good question. We redraw trend lines based on structure. And if you know how to read structure, you tend to recognize those structures pretty early, right? So you can see that when a structure you're trading is not going, it's behaving differently, then you start understanding that it's making a more complex structure. And once you understand that, you have a high probability of getting out of that trade for positive or for break even, because you start figuring out, well, okay, this is not what it's doing. So what we're looking for, don't try to trade this piece here because it's going to be like this. It may end up doing like this. But what we would look for is the breakout of this structure to the upside. I don't know what the C wave would exactly look like. We may get a sell setup in it, but I don't see a sell setup in this one here. But we may get a sell setup in it eventually. Right? When we do get a sell setup, we'll take it. If this makes a flag here, somewhere here, and drop, we will take this trade. I don't see that happening, but if it happens, we'll take the trade. I'm looking more for the big trade to the upside. Eventually, it will go. I'll repost this, and you guys will get it. Right? I'll repost it so everybody will get this. So this trade is going to happen. Right? There's no question. I'm telling you it's going to happen. You can mark my word. Record this piece of the webinar. Keep it with you to come back and tell me if it's not. It is going to happen. We're going to look for this to make some more corrections here and go back to this stuff. And at this point, they will talk to us. Right? At this point here, they're going to talk to us because I think they're going to go up, but there's a chance they may come back down. Right? It doesn't matter. This is the big trade you're looking for. And when it gets to that point, we will see what to do with it. Personally, I think it's going to break out. And I hope that by the time it gets there, we will see what the structure is telling us. right? We'll have enough information on the structure itself to tell us whether it's going to go up or not, right? So I don't think they're going to go from right here because they definitely need to break this low. I would like to see them break that low before they go. So this move up here, if this move even go up here, it's going to come back down, right? Go up, come back down. Don't try to sell it. Sometimes you look at this move and you better not to trade them. Wait for the big move because the big move will start to go pretty fast, right? So don't rush into this. Just wait for the big move and then we'll get it. I'll keep following that chart for you guys. I'll post it. And we will track every move up to the upside. So let's go 4 hours. Sorry, I said 4 hours. I was going to say Euro Chief. So Euro Chief made a breakout here. We were anticipating for it to come all the way to the top, but instead it started to fall. So this completes this pattern here, whatever this is. I think they may have completed or they're making a bigger corrective structure here. It's turning out to be a much bigger structure, a bigger sideways structure. So we have got a 1, 2, 3 up here, a 1, 2, 3 up. We're getting a 1, 2, 3 down. We would look for a 1, 2, 3 up back to the top, right? So when this finish here is going to come down some more, we would look for a 1, 2, 3 back to the top there. You can see the entire structure if you want. It's pretty much what it has been doing, right? So this is the entire structure. They made a 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up. See? It's not difficult. We know the structure, and then it's either going to break out if it's a flat, if it's a running flat, just regular flat. So if it's a regular flat, it's going to break out, or then you're going to get 1, 2, 3 down, and then totally up. This is a corrective structure. It's either a flat or it's making some kind of WXYXZ pattern. You just have to know structure, right? You just have to know these structures, and that is what it's doing. This was your impulse up. See, that's your move up. This is going sideways. This should go up. So the question is, when we finish this move here, will it come back first and then go up, or is it going to break out? That's all you have to say. So now let's look at the smaller trades, our trading area, what we are doing within the trade area. What we're doing is we're making a bigger flat, and that is good because now it gives us a complete three-wave pattern here. 1, 2, 3, and that means we're going to look at this somewhere for this to end somewhere in here. We can actually fib it, probably 618 50 fib. Look for the 50 618 fib and then the upside of this. Right? This is giving you a very nice flat pattern, very classical as a matter of fact. 1, 2, 3. It's going to end somewhere here, and then start to go back up. Right? How many patterns altogether? Not very many, by the way. If you read the book, the Elliott Wave book, it's called The Principles of Elliott Wave. You can get them. There are a couple flats, a couple wedges, a couple triangles, a couple, you have a couple diagonals, and just basically just a couple. But the biggest zigzags and all of that. But the biggest problem is not the couple that you have. It's the combination of them, which gets a lot of trader confusing, right? Because they can be combined into double and triple patterns. And that is what get traders come. Like this one, for example, you will say it's a combination because you have a 1, 2, 3 down. Then I'm pretty sure you'll find a 1, 2, 3 there, and then this will probably make a 1, 2, 3 down, and then you're going to go up. So this is more of a combination of double, triple patterns or so, right? So it's not that just by knowing the patterns. And then I see some traders just like to draw the sketches of the pattern, and they post it in TradingView, and they get 1,000 likes, and everybody's, oh yeah, that's nice. Well, that's stupidness. Let me tell you why it's stupidness. You can't find that sketch in the chart. I give you a blank chart and tell you to find it while it's happening. You cannot. Hindsight, you can go and search. That is what traders do. They go hindsight, search all over, find one nice one, and post it. But that's not what trading is. Trading is you should find them every time. You should be able to tell what the entire structure is at any point, because the entire structure is moving on wave patterns. Not just one piece of it, but the entire piece, right? The entire thing is, I'm not, you know, when I say these things, people say you're criticizing people. I'm not criticizing people. I'm criticizing the principle. I'm criticizing the idea of posting those charts. They're there for probably likes, maybe. I could understand that, but they're not giving you any valued information. Because even when you read the book, the reason I'm sending you to read the book, because when you read that book, you're going to come back to me and say, I can't figure out the darn in that book. I can see the sketches, but I can't figure out the darn when I look in the charts. And that is where I come in. That is where, if you really want to learn how to identify, you're going to come to me. And a lot of traders did that, right? We have a lot of traders from TradingView who took the course, and then they will tell you how that changed what they're seeing, how they saw the chart, right? Right? And the reason we have done that is we have identified something Elliot hasn't done. Not that he didn't have the thing, he didn't have those tools to it. He didn't have a computer, and he didn't have some of the tools we're using to identify and isolate what is a single wave. And if you know what is a single wave, you can count to 3 waves and you can count to 5 waves. If you don't know what is a wave, then you have a problem counting to 3 or 5. That's a big heavy if you don't know what is 1. How do you know what is 3 or what is 5? And that is where we have really mastered this, and we have changed. That has actually changed my entire view of the charts. Once I figure out that you can isolate each wave separately, you can literally isolate and see, well, okay, this is one wave. And then you can go within that wave and see how many structures it has within itself. And once you can do that, your accuracy with which you're going to do this is very, very great. It becomes powerful. It doesn't depend on you. They're rule-based. It's all rule-based. My traders are going to tell you the rules. Every time they come to me, I said, use the rules, right? They send me a chart and said, is this correct? I said, go back to the rules. If it's incorrect, I don't tell them it's incorrect. I said, go back to the rules. If it's correct, I said, well done. But if it's incorrect and I say to them, go back to the rules, that means it's wrong. Go back and check it. I'm not going to correct you until you correct yourself. You have the rules to correct yourself. And they very often, I will say 99% of them come back with the correct charts. Just that's there, you know, you tend to skip the rules until you said, oh, somebody said, go back to the rules. And then you said, oh, let me check what the rules say about this. And then they come back and they bring the correct one, right? It's all rule-based. So let's go. Euro chip, Euro Swiss. By the way, I think this is going to go up. This would be a nice trade when it eventually goes. So let's see if we're going to get it. It's making a deeper correction. Euro CAD. Euro CAD. Let me bring up this chart because I decided I'm going to do an experiment for TradingView. And I think all of you are following it. All of you know the chart. And I'm going to post step by step what's happening to this chart and how we look at patterns and how the patterns change as it go along, right? And yeah, of course, there were skeptical people in there. They didn't believe it's going to do what I think it's going to do. And I can bring these charts just for learning purpose. I'll go back to some of them and bring them up to you what the charts were so that you can see how patterns actually work and how they change and how you can recognize what that change is going to be and how you take steps to go. So the first chart I posted, I think was somewhere in here if I get it. Oh, if I can find it now. I think it was somewhere in here for a sell to the downside. It was on the 1 hour, I'm pretty sure. Oh, sell setup. That was the first one that I posted on this one, I think. There may be more than that. Right? So you can have, it may take you good. This was the first chart I posted, and I promise everybody that I'm going to follow it. I'm going to follow it to show you what it's doing. So what we thought would we have an impulse. We're getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave correction, and then it's going to go up. Right? That is one corrective structure that we know that behaves that way, right? Now, if we look at it, come on. Good. Let's go back. Let's pull back. Bingo. They came down, right? And then they started to go up, and we said that is going to be in an upside. But look at how I followed the chart as it is going. I showed you the trade for the downside. I showed you what this is going to do, when to sell, what to do it. We showed you that trade to the upside, which actually happened. You can come back and see they did move up. You see they did move up to this level. So if you had bought where I showed you with the buy, I think you could have got that to break even, if not in profit, because it came back all the way to like about here, right? So you could have made some profit or even take a break-even trade. And then I showed you, watch this, when it comes here, it may break. Only if it breaks, this is going up. I don't think they break that. I think they just went down. We will see. Take a look. See, they didn't break it. They started to come down. I said, watch it. They may come here and go because this is still looking like an upside structure. And then they started to go sideways. That is when I said, stay out of it, right? They started to make this pattern, and I said, be careful. This could come down as well as go up. This pattern is changing. This was the news time. It was going crazy. I said, stay out of it. You see from here. Leave it here, right? As you see here, we didn't get a sell set up here. We were looking for this. There isn't a sell set. There was a sell set up here. There was a buy there, but there is no sell set up here. And we stayed out of it. We did the right thing because we couldn't figure out that pattern is going to do at that point. So only if it breaks this low, we negate this structure. Let's check, see if they break that low. No, I said, watch this structure now. If they break out of this structure, you should be a buyer because now they're going to go. Guess what? All right, guess what? Let's go. Let me show you that structure that I showed you to buy if they break out of. It's this structure. If they break out of that structure there, you're a buyer here. See? Now you can put that to break even and watch it slowly, 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 slowly climb to the target. Now, what if they're going to make some corrections here and then go? I will give you a buy setup here. There's a possibility they can do that. You will have a buy setup for that trade. See? Step by step. That is what we do. And I do this twice daily. You were not getting it twice daily. You were just getting a step by step of how we look at structure, how it develop, and how we understand, right? So that at least those people who are skeptical could see that we can see inside of these structures when it changes. And I'm updating my charts twice daily for my traders. So if there is a change in the structure, we look at it and we said, okay, guys, we were looking for that 5 wave to go. It's becoming a more complex structures, a double tree or a triple tree. Now here's what we're going to do. And that's exactly what we do. We looked at it and then we make a decision. I still think it's more upside. There is still this target is going to get hit. So you can remember it when I do my next webinar. I'll come back to that target. There's a 90% chance. Let me give you that 90% chance that target gets hits every time. 90%. And then we will be looking for the downside of this trade, because there's a chance when they get there, they will start to move to the downside. Now, this has to be one of those 10% if they don't go there, but there's a 90% chance that this thing will go there eventually and then come back here. 1, 2, 3. What did it do here? 1, 2, 3. See how easy it is? It looks easy, right? It looks pretty easy when I do it. A lot of my traders say that when they're taking the training course. Darn, when you put it on in the charts, it's pretty easy. Just take everything out and give me the chart and it doesn't look good. Well, that is because I know how to read it. And that's what I teach them to do. So when they do their charts and they look at it, it's pretty easy like I see it. You see it exactly what I see because you're using the same rules that I'm using. And that's how we see it the same way. Euro Yen. Let's see what it's doing. Okay, Euro Yen, we're looking at this. We made this big structure here. It is within this big structure, right? They made a move down, they made a move up, they're making a move down, and they're making an attempt for a move up. So the assumption is that they're going to come back to this top. But that is if they break out of this move here. So let's go and see what that move is inside of their 4 hour. I think it looks corrective, as you can all see. We had an impulse up. We had a 1, 2, 3 here. We got an impulse. I think we can easily clear that this impulse probably even came here. I don't know. You can go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it is likely going to do this. This is the trade you want. Wait for them to prove they can break out of this. Don't try to buy it at the bottom, because if you could be wrong here and then they go down like this and then come. So you don't want that to happen to you. Wait for it to prove it is going to break this structure. And if you wait, you get a better risk to reward trade, but I will not show you that because then I'll be giving you away my strategy, right? Which I can't do because some of my traders are in here and they'll probably kill me for that, right? So if you wait for the breakout, you'll have a better risk to reward trade if you go here. See, this is the trade you're looking for. What if it doesn't happen? Well, we don't care. We're not really worried about it. We're not saying that it has to happen. We're saying if it happens, based on the structure, it should happen. And if it happens, we will take the trade. You can like it, or you can don't. That's how structure works, right? So what we're looking at, watch for this thing to make, you notice I'm already looking at the lower time frame. I'm looking at this, let it make a correction, and then take it up here, make a correction, take it, and then the big trade comes. Right? Now, I can't teach you guys how to do this part of it or what we're going to do in there, or I can't even show you most of that. But sometimes when I said take the breakout trade, we are already way in that trade way earlier than before it breaks out. But that is something that is reserved for my trading room, and I cannot share that. We don't always wait for the breakout trade. Right? We don't always wait for the breakout trade, but I will post the breakout trade in TradingView. TradingView is just a place where I show you what I see. I'm not obliged to give you everything that I give to my traders, right? So I'm already looking for the buy setup. There isn't a buy setup yet, but when I get the buy setup, I'll be in that trade. Maybe not today, most likely Monday. It's already too late, right? Euro Pound. So you will be looking for upside on that trade on Monday. Euro Pound, let's see what this is doing in the big picture. Okay. They made a move down here. Remember, Euro-Pound broke out of the weekly structure. If you guys remember that, let me just bring it up for you. It's a weekly, monthly structure. They broke out of it. And in my last webinar, remember what I said? I want to see some kind of a consolidation in here before I start trading that thing up. I will trade it up, but I want to see some kind of a consolidation in the lower time frame. I wasn't buying at the top there. There was no reason to buy there. And then we started to get that consolidation. Remember when you came to the webinar, it was here and it was here. I said, don't buy because it's too early. Let them do this. Let them do something like this and let them come back here. And then we will all be buyers. You want that corrective structure to play before you buy. Now, there may be short-term buys in here. I can see that's possible. Not that I'm not trading this. I hardly trade this pair. Unless there's a very perfect setup. It's going up, but this pattern that is going up is looking very corrective. Unless it really changes nature, right? They can get here and then we should see one more attempt at the low before they go back up. So you may even get a buy setup, a sell setup, and then you get that big trade to go up. It's going to be a very big trade. But I think we will be in this sideways for a much longer period of time, right? Pound Oz, I post the sell setup in this, and I think it's actually going finally. They give us a couple pips in it, and then they break back up. The sell setup was actually this one here, this breakout here. It came here, give us some pips, start to come back here, go down, and that was where the stop was, got taken out of the trade, went higher, come back. It's giving you a nice sell setup here, by the way, if you're paying attention. In my traders, you're paying attention, you got a sell setup there. I hope you see that. Right? And now we're doing something else here. See that? We're doing this. So what I think they're going to do, this is how the structure changed. What I think they're going to do is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go up. So there's one more upside on this. Put it in a bigger picture so you can see that. See? We're thinking that this may not break the lowest yet. I was thinking they would go break the low, but now I'm looking at a change of structure. They may do this. And then we may see an attempt at that before they come down for a bigger 1, 2, 3 wave structure, right? It still will be within the downtrend. It's just going to make a much deeper, a much bigger corrective structure. See that? By the way, this strip is no longer valid. Take it off. Right? This is no longer valid. Take it off. So we may end up see a bigger structure to the upside. You have a buy sell setup, take the sell until you see the change in the structure for the upside. So we will sell this until we notice that structurally it's changing, right? There's a sell setup, by the way, here that would retest these lows. So if you guys, I'm not making a trade call, I'm just telling you what we would do. What we would do is if it pulls back here, we will sell it to retest this low. That is what I would do. Right now, that's what I'll do. Well, if it goes, it goes. If it pulls back, okay. I'm not giving you a trade call. I'm not giving trade calls in here. All right, let's go. Pound Chief. Pound Chief coming down. This was also a sell setup we were looking at. It's going to come down, but I don't think they're going to go down very far. I think we did not the Pound Chief, the Pound New Zealand, we had a sell setup. Sorry about that. This is coming down, but I don't think they're going to retest this low. I think we're eventually, this is looking very corrective, so we may go back. Watch for next week upside. There's a high probability that this would go up some more before they come down, right? Pound Chief has broken this structure. It's a very big structure. I posted this structure some time back, and we have broken this structure. See that? So this is going to come down pretty low. You will retest this low and you will go much lower, but we need to get the correct entry for the sell. I think it's too early to get in the sell. Right? It's too early because this is showing us, this pattern here is showing us, see this pattern here is showing us one more up and then down. Right? So wait for that third wave up and then we're going to go. It's like this one. Look at this. You see they were going up. They made 1, 2, 3, and then they went up. This 3 wave here. We're making 1, 2, 3, and then we come down. So wait for that up move first. If you're in the sell now, just make sure you're moving to positive, right? And the same thing I think we have in the Pound Oz. So the Pound New Zealand should have a very similar structure. Pound New Zealand, downside, this was a sell setup. It actually took a long time to go, to be honest. It took a very long time, but eventually I think this is also going to go back up. I don't think this trade will continue to go down anymore. But if it makes the next correction, sell it again, right? If they make another correction here, sell again. We will keep selling until that changes, until the structure changes, right? So you can look for more sell setup. CAD, same similar structure. You can look for more sell setup. You see the sell setup is here already. It's breaking out of that. This is a nice one because this one may come back all the way to this low, right? You have a very nice sell setup back to this low here. Pound Yen. I think a lot of people are interested in this one. Let's see. As you can see, this one is going up. They're making a corrective structure. Watch for this trade up from the breakout here. That is the trade you're looking for, right? That should be a really, really nice trade. Let's go. Aussie Yen, sorry. I'm going to do some of this. Aussie Yen actually broke through this structure. It broke that uptrend line. So we'll have to wait. Stay out of the Aussie until we see what structure it's making. We were anticipating a break to the upside here. You see, we were looking for this to break out to the upside there. It broke slightly. It didn't really stay above that trend, and then it fell. I don't know if they're making a bigger trend here. See, it's still within this trend. Still within this. So it could be, they could be making a bigger trend here. I don't have a clue yet, so we'll figure that out. We'll wait on that some more. New Zealand Yen. Same here. We're looking for that up move. It just gave a wick there. That's a wick, so that's not a trigger to buy into, right? And then it came down back, and we are waiting. Skip this. Most of the yen pairs, we are waiting for them to show us what the structure is going to do. Same here. This was the buy setup, came down back, and now we're waiting to see what this bigger structure tells us. Okay? The bigger structure is still telling you upside. Let me just redraw it so you can see it. The bigger structure here is telling us this is a consolidation. Sorry, that is a consolidation to go up. See that? If you look at this, all it's telling you is that this is a consolidation here to go up. It doesn't matter that they're spiking it up and down. Look at the bigger picture. You're going to see what it's showing you. It's a clear sign that this looks like it's wanting to go up. So what you're going to do is wait for it to break out. Wait for it to break out of this structure here. Okay? Let them go. Let them probably come back like this, go down back one more, and then break out of the structure. This becomes your trade. And if they break this structure, they're going all the way to this top. See, that would be the trade. So just wait for it. CAD Yen. CAD Yen is an interesting one because I posted this, and then a lot of traders coming with a lot of trouble, right? Some people just wait for you to get, you didn't go the way exactly you wanted to go, and then they come. They don't post a single chart, but then they come, right? So this is what you're going to look for. This was a buy setup here. A trade I actually took. I took the loss because I was asleep when it triggered, and I was asleep when I got taken out. So this was my trade. Let me just show you for the sake. The breakout of this stop, right? Enter the trade there with a stop under the low, right? So I got taken in there, and I got stopped out right here. This is a more than one-to-one risk to reward. A trade, many trade. That was, I wouldn't have taken the trade off. I can promise you that. But once I see they start to do this, not before the fall happened, but before this happened, when they started to do this here, that looks like a corrective structure to me. I would move this stop to break even and leave it. What I would do is I'll move my stop to break even like this and leave it. Because what I would have expected them to do is this. I wouldn't probably have expected this to happen, but I would have expected that to happen. But what is the big deal? If you take a loss, you take a loss. If you take a break even, I mean, one trade never really is a problem. You will take loss. All of us will take lots of losses. So it's not about if you take a loss or not. That's not the point, right? But trolls just got to keep coming. Aussie, New Zealand, we are waiting for this trade. We all want this trade. So let's go and look at what the trade is. Some of our traders are in this trade from the very low. We're getting a much deeper correction than anticipated here. You can see this correction is coming down a little deep. Wait for the breakout. It hasn't broken out as yet. It's coming back a little deeper than I expected. Let me change this around, right? But New Zealand will start to fall very soon, right? So what you can do is take this off. What you can do here now is go in at a much earlier place. Don't wait for that breakout. Wait for this breakout, right? Let it come down some more and let it break here, make corrections, take this trade up and then take the trade out there. This is just a big sideways move, right? I don't think they're going to go retest this low. They can, but I don't think that's what they're doing because I don't see structurally that they're doing that. This looks more like they're not going very sharp. This is doing this. You see how it is doing? So eventually it should go up. Silver. Come on, silver is taking long to open. We're getting some sideways here. I don't think you want to get involved with silver buys right now too early. It may go up some more, but I think silver will start to consolidate here much more longer before it goes. I think we will see a much bigger because we have completed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. The fifth wave is not completed as yet. We don't know if it's over. It could still spike just above the top. They could still spike this like that and then come down, but there's a big correction coming here before the next big wave to the upside. So you probably want to wait for that to happen. If you wait for this to happen, you're going to get some real nice buys. I'm looking to rebuy a lot of around 17, 18, buy a lot of it. Once I see this structure does what I think it's going to do, there'll be a lot of buys coming in there. We're taking some small buys and small sells in here, but they're very short term because they can. Same with gold. And we have been, you know, I've been posting this gold trade for like ever, up and down and showing you how all it works out, right? Update, daily update, look at this for the downside. And then, you know, this was where we said this is going to go up because we saw this structure. And we know that once you see it ending diagonal structure like that, it will break to the upside. That's a 99.9% chance it will break to the upside, right? I posted it on the weekly, so you can see, and I posted it on the daily, so you have a clearer view. Remember, it hadn't made the bottom as yet. I said it's going to come back here and then go make a bottom and then take off. And you can go click the charts to see what happened. Look at that. You can't get it better than, and they have it in red. What's wrong with these people? This is so perfect and they have it in red. TradingView is really going crazy now. I hope somebody from TradingView, the admin or some moderator is looking. This thing, it's perfect, right? That's a perfect trade. Oh, I hold trades sometimes for weeks, not only over the weekend. It depends on if it's a position trade I'm in. I keep them for a long time. My question, TradingView, why is this chart red? It did exactly what I said it's going to do. Why is it red? Right? I'll let that go. Don't worry. I'm already having enough problem there. So watch this, some more up. I think it will go. Cause the call is a short. I didn't put it for a short. I don't know why they see short. They can't see where the arrow is showing. Why they have a short in it when I'm showing where the arrow is going to go? You see, that's crazy stuff. I said it's going to come down to this low and then go up. Didn't it go to the low? I think it went. It went perfectly to the low and then it started to go back up, right? So even in that sense, it is correct. So let's go. Watch this. Somebody asked me and I sent him. I said, well, it's in a buy, but it may just retest this top. I don't think it's going to go very far. It may just retest this top. Gold is a little different from silver, and then we may see this correction down here, right? See, they made a move up, correction. They're making a move up. We'll get correction, and we'll probably get more up, right? So you can trade this if you're in the trade to the upside. I think short term it's going to go up some more, and then we're going to look for that corrective structure down, right? See, this was your buy setup. See that small one there? That was the buy setup. For those of you who took it, they're giving you another buy setup here if you want. Not the best one, but you're getting one there. Right? You're getting one here, not the best one, by the way. But it is there, right? So let's go. US oil. And there's a lot of people asking me for oil. Sometimes when I don't see anything, I don't post. Remember, we were posting it when we saw what it was doing in here, right? Remember when we were here, we were saying, watch this structure, this thing is going to go down, when people were looking at this and saying, well, this is it, it's going to go up now. I'm like, no, they're just making a big correction and they come down. They made another small correction. They go down, wait for another correction and wait for downside. At some point, we're going to get some bigger sideways move. Let me show you on the daily. Now, I don't think they're coming to retest this low. Honestly, I don't think they're doing that because it doesn't look so. But if they go back and they make a correction like this, if they make a correction like that, look for a sell. If they make another correction like this, look for a sell. If they make another correction like that, look for a sell, right? Just do that. Right now, there you can't jump in the trade. It's not doing anything. But if they go up sharply and they make a correction like this, look for a buy. It will probably do this buy, and then you will see come back here. So I think we may see a bigger 1, 2, 3 wave structure before they go up. I don't think we're going to see much big downside. It could happen, but I don't see that happening right now. Right? Structurally, we can't tell what it's doing with just this one piece. We need to have more to decide what this correction would look like. But as of now, on the lower time frame, it's going down. So if you have sell setups, take it, right? And on the lower time frame on this one, my traders, I told them, take these and then take your profit. Take this. If they give you one more, sell it and take your profit, because one of these are going to reverse. Very soon, one of them will reverse. So you're taking your profit. You're not keeping it. It's not position trade. Natural gas. This is the next one we are following very, very carefully. And as you can see, it's working out very good. All these lines are buy orders that my trader were taking when this was going up. This was an order to buy. This was an order to buy. That was an order to buy. This was an order to buy if they broke that top. Some of my traders are keeping all these trades, literally keeping all the trades, taking off some. I think they may have taken off these two because we anticipated a deeper correction here, right? And if this goes now, I think there's an order we are buying here. We didn't put that on. There's a buy order here to go. If it goes, if it doesn't go and it just come here, start to come back as a 3-wave structure, well, then some of these will take out as profit. This one, I think they'll be keeping. I think one of our trader got in somewhere from here, but he's not trading natural gas itself. I think he's trading some other instrument that on natural gas, not the spot trade of it, right? And he's keeping them. I don't know, whatever it is, something he's buying and holding, which is good. Long term, it's going up, right? So it's an upside long term. Okay, guys, it's S&P 500, SPX 500. A lot of you want to see this, the S&P 500. Let's go and look at it. Come on. And there it goes. Remember, you were in my room when I said, guys, it's going to go up. Don't worry. This is just a correction. No need to panic. It's going to go up. They're making a small correction here. It may get a little bigger soon and then more upside, right? People just go crazy. They look at the candle and, oh, this is going to go and this is going to be the fall of the century and this happened in that place and this has happened there, and they have millions of explanations as to why it's happening. It's going up. It's simple. Just look at the chart. It will tell you what it's doing, right? Still more upside. But here's something interesting I want to show you. This is the last impulse up. So everybody who is saying, oh, there is going to be a fall, there's going to be a fall, will be right sometime, right? And actually when they will be right is when this 5-wave is completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think somewhere around here, that 5-wave will be completed around the 2004. And then you can definitely see some real big waves down before it goes back up. You're going to see some real huge falls like that, right? We're going to get some big structure in here. And then they're going to say, well, I warned you it's going to fall. Well, you warned me it's going to fall, but it went higher. That's a different story. You can't keep warning every day. If you shout the same thing every day, one day you may be correct, right? The idea is it's going up. You have to identify from where you think it's going to fall. So I think it's going to go up. I said it's going to go up. Probably look at this area here. Look at that 2524 area. Look at this 2429 to 25. That is where this fall is going to come back from. And there will be a big fall. It will be a sudden fall as well. Right? What is going to be the cause of that? I don't know. I'm not, a fortune teller. I can't tell you what will cause it, but I can tell you it's going to happen. And the reason we know it's going to happen because the structure behaves that way. Remember when I said the pound is going to fall? Nobody believed it. Pound was going up crazily, very strong, and I said, oh, this is going to fall. And people said, well, you got to be crazy. And turned out it fell very nice, fell exactly to where we wanted it to go. And I think all of you saw that pound chart, right? The big monthly pound chart I posted. So, okay, guys, that's it. We actually spent more than an hour because I think within I was giving some explanation and a lot of different things there. Thank you for your patience to being here so long. Not everybody made it. A couple of people fell off. So I don't know if you guys really want to go into question and answer because it's more than an hour. Anybody has any questions or anything you want to go, or let's just skip it. Okay, hold a second. Somebody's asking a question. As you may know, there are a couple of attempts in. Do you think the wave theory explain the move and the? Oh no, no, don't worry with the attempts of that and the wave theory. Don't worry with what's the reason for your currency to move. Watch the structure of the currency, right? Because it doesn't matter if you can't read into those events. You don't know they're going to happen, right? So don't follow them. You're going to lose your account trying to follow them, right? Just look at the structure. Learn to read the structure, guys. It's going to tell you what it's going to do. It's like telling a doctor he shouldn't look at a cardiogram. He should just find out what you did for the rest of your life, and probably he's going to tell you what's wrong with your heart. No, he'll send you to do a cardiogram, and he will read the graphs, and he will tell you if you have a problem with your heart, right? People who do seismologists, they will read the seismographs you make. They are going to read it to tell you there's an earthquake coming somewhere. They will not guess their way. It's the same thing we are doing. We're reading charts to tell us what it's going to do next. Now, we could be wrong a few times. Not that the chart is wrong, but we are wrong in the way we read it. And that's okay. We're human beings. We make mistakes. But guess what? Go look at 100 of my charts, and you will see how much of them are very accurate. That is what is important. It gives you an advantage in the trading. You don't have to believe it. It does give you an advantage. Somebody please repost the YouTube channel. I'll post the chart out, and I'll post the YouTube channel and everything, because if I just post it in the update, they're going to block me again. So, yep, you got the YouTube channel. Thank you, Mark. Thank guys for your support, and thanks for everybody. I'll see all of you later. Take care. Bye-bye.